Jake Paul already has plenty on his plate as he works to ensure his boxing match against Hasim Rahman Jr. makes it intact to fight night. But that doesn't mean Paul is losing sight of his long-term goals. From the moment Paul went all in on professional boxing, an eventual dance date with Conor McGregor has sat atop his wish list. And that hasn't changed in the past few years. It's got to happen. Why not? He's a businessman, I'm a businessman, and that's $75 to $100 million for both of us, Paul said Monday on the MMA Hour. For Paul, it's simple math. He and McGregor are two of the biggest names in combat sports. A matchup between the two of them could become the most lucrative mainstream crossover fight since McGregor and Floyd Mayweather shattered records in 2017. Paul has long targeted both McGregor and Canelo Alvarez as eventual endgame goals for his boxing career. He said Monday that he believes the former will be ready to happen after he adds a few more knockouts to his highlight reel and McGregor is able to get active again in MMA. But if given the choice between fighting either McGregor or Alvarez, Paul's pick is clear: he wants the loquacious former two-division UFC champion. I think Conor and I would be way more exciting, way more electric, Paul said. I think we're both more of a showman than Canelo, so just the press conferences and all the suck talk would be absolutely legendary, it would be historic, and it would be so entertaining for the fans. It'd be riveting. People would be on the edge of their seats, salivating to see us fight, because of how much promotion going into it that we would both bring. McGregor has been sidelined since suffering a brutal leg injury in his July 2021 rubber match against Dustin Poirier, however he's still kept an active eye on the game. Rarely does his name get mentioned without him firing back. And Monday's show was no exception. When faced with Paul's prediction, McGregor was blunt. "You've 2 fights and done 70k buys," McGregor responded. "You are a flop, kid. A nobody." Las Vegas, Rafael Fiziev passed multiple tests in his win at UFC on ESPN 39. In his biggest challenge to date, Fiziev finished former UFC lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos in the opening seconds of round 5 in this past Saturday's main event at the UFC Apex. The win marked Fiziev's first scheduled 5-round bout. While he admits that he started to fade throughout the fight, he thinks the late finish proved that his cardio held up just fine. "It's a big difference, but yeah, I'm tired," Fiziev told reporters at the UFC on ESPN 39 post-fight news conference. "I'm tired so much in the fight, but I make a finish in round 5. This means something. Like I can fight 5 rounds." Jake Paul sees a clash with UFC star Nate Diaz as a real possibility. The YouTuber-turned-boxer believes there's a chance he could share the boxing ring with Diaz in the near future. Diaz, who is one of the most popular fighters in MMA, has just 1 fight left on his UFC contract before becoming a free agent. Paul hopes Diaz doesn't re-sign with the UFC, so it could set up a boxing match between the two. "I'm hoping because none of these guys want to fight me," Paul said Monday on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. "I believe Nate Diaz will actually fight me and isn't afraid like most of these professional boxers." Nate Landwehr meets Zubaira Tukeuk at a UFC Fight Night event on August 6 at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, promotion officials announced. Landwehr, a former M1 featherweight champion, has split his first 4 octagon appearances. He's coming off a 3rd-round performance of the night submission of Ludovic Klein at UFC Fight Night 195 in October 2021. Tukeuk also has had mixed results in his past few outings. After getting edged out by Hakeem Dawood at UFC 253, the 31-year-old rebounded with a unanimous decision win over Ricardo Ramos at UFC 267. Yair Rodriguez said the stakes just got even higher for his main event against Brian Ortega at UFC on ABC 3. Ahead of the 5-round fight on Saturday, Rodriguez on Monday told the MMA Hour that the promotion has assured him a win on Saturday will put him next in line for a shot at reigning champion Alexander Volkanovski. "Yes, that has been said to me," Rodriguez confirmed about the title shot opportunity. "Yeah, that's what we're looking for. First things first, I'm going to win this fight and then give the champ some time to heal and yeah, go for it. For now, let's take it step by step. First things first, July 16th, Brian Ortega, that's for now. Rodriguez comes into the fight off a unanimous decision loss to Max Holloway in his previous outing, which put his record at 2-2 with one no contest over his past 5 appearances. Still, an impressive win over a highly ranked opponent like Ortega seems to be enough for Rodriguez to vault to the front of the line, in which Volkanovski doesn't have a definitive #1 contender. Of course, Josh Emmett would argue otherwise, as he's rattled off 5 straight wins, including a victory over Calvin Kattar in June. But at least for now, Rodriguez is competing under the assumption that a win will put him next in line for a title fight. While his focus remains on Ortega this weekend, Rodriguez was very impressed by what Volkanovski did in his trilogy with Holloway. The Australian dominated the fight with arguably one of his best performances to date, winning a lopsided decision. "Shit, wow, that's all I can say," Rodriguez said about Volkanovski. "He looked amazing. It was eye-opening for me. I better get ready for that if I want to be the champion. If I want to be the champion, I'm going to have to do some work, because he's tough. He's really tough." On his last fights before the win over Holloway, he didn't like that. This fight, he looked so quick, explosive, smart, the strategy was good, everything. He showed why he's the champion. Even with a position near the top of the rankings in the past few years, Rodriguez has never cemented himself as a true threat to the champion. But he hopes to change that with his fight against Ortega. Rodriguez knows even with a win on Saturday, he'll still have a lot more homework to do if he expects to get past somebody like Volkanovski, who has seemingly been getting better and better with each passing fight. "He looked so much better," Rodriguez said. "Everybody was surprised. Like my family and friends, they were like, 'What do you think?' I think he's great, I think he's good, and I think I'm going to have to put on a lot of work if I'm going to beat him." Before he can worry about Volkanovski and the title, Rodriguez can't ignore the difficult task ahead, because Ortega has consistently been one of the best fighters in the entire featherweight division. He considers Ortega a friend, so fighting each other isn't ideal. But he admits that given the stage, a main event on ABC, and a title shot on the line, it was too good to pass up on. "We didn't want to fight each other unless we had to," Rodriguez explained. "Now this is an opportunity for both of us, and we have to fight each other. As I've said before, it's not the opponent I wanted, but the opportunity one wanted. Here we are facing each other with this big opportunity. It's an important fight.